Good evening and welcome to the RCB Sports Show. My name is Nicholas Rynne and I'm joined here by Jamesy McConigley, who's met me here in the good house in Nina for a chat on all things hurling. And welcome, Jamesy.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Yeah, James, of course, is a reporter with a freelance reporter with the Clare Champion, amongst other things, and he's a hurling hurler as well, so he's really up to date on all things hurling. First thing I'd like to talk about, we're going to be talking about the club championship a little later on, gently, but it's just a week out now since the All Ireland. A fantastic win for Limerick, our neighbours. I suppose we're a little bit jealous, but we have to stand back and say what a marvellous team and what a great final we had, and compliment Brian Cody and his men as well, Kilkenny.
Yeah, it was a serious game of hurling as well. Like the score, and there was over 60 points in the game. I know a lot of people were kind of saying that Limerick were going to win from the outset, but that Kilkenny team showed a lot of guts and bravery throughout, and they got it back to. I think they got it back to a tie game during the halfway through the second half. But Limerick's just shows why they're 1-3 in a row on what they've done in the second half, and they were just that little bit better towards the end against Kilkenny.
Yeah, I suppose Garrod Hegarty's early goal, they were a pint up, and when Garrod Hegarty struck, and it was a brilliant goal. The work he had to do, the way he got it up for a tall man, and the way he just planted right into the top corner.
He seems to be fair for the big day, isn't he?
He loves Croke Park, he said, and you can see why he's got big scores in all finals he's played there. But that goal really was the goal that separated him right through it again. They put it out to 6 points on a few occasions. Kilkenny stayed on their tail the whole way through, but when they got level, I think they had expended a lot of energy getting back, and they just didn't have they didn't get probably a third goal would have been needed. But I suppose the greatness of Limerick is that Kilkenny of all teams can come back at you, draw you level, and they pull away again. That's probably what sets them apart from the rest of the teams.
Yeah, and another factor as well was their fitness levels. Like it was mentioned that the weather soared to the high 20s, and playing an All Ireland final is going to be high intensity anyway. So to have that fitness levels and to show towards the end, like there was a couple of balls going into the corner and still players were going full tilt at it. It just shows that the game has changed a lot, and fitness levels are the Limerick team's fitness peaked there on Sunday.
Off the charts completely.
Yep.
I mean, when you saw some of them Limerick lads, they were going as strong in the 70th minute as they were in the first minute. So that's how conditioned they are.
And you know what? I was throughout the match watching. It was like every single Kilkenny put on the substitutes every 5-10 minutes, and I thought, that could stand them towards the end.
Yeah.
But that didn't really seem to faze Limerick like too much, because when they did bring on the substitutes, they all contributed. But like I was very surprised that to be honest, when I thought the game was in the balance there, and Kenny just brought on the subs, and Richie Hogan fired over that point, I go, what, this could be Kenny's day. Yeah. But it just shows the great determination of Limerick.
Yeah, and I suppose in normal circumstances it would have been this is Kilkenny now going to nail it at the end, like coming in. But it was Limerick who responded.
Yeah.
Gerard Hegarty got that last point. I think it was really sealed the deal, I suppose. And for the last point for Limerick, it was from way out the field, out to win. I was right behind the goals. That ball, it was unbelievable.
He scored a point on his own 65 there at one stage, and it was effortless. He scored one as well in the first half.
Yeah.
On the sideline on the 65. So I think if he does get hurt of the year, probably be justified with that performance. I know he got a red card, and he got a red card against Clare in Championship. But he was brilliant in the Munster final, and again he was brilliant in the All Ireland final when he needed to.
David McConigley be in line because he had him scoreless in the first time. I got him to maybe a pint or scoreless, I'm not sure, but he marked him in the Munster final and really kept tabs on him. So that speaks in volumes for David McConigley. It's every year he's had as well.
That's subjective, Nicholas. I suppose you're entitled to your opinion.
Well,
I don't know how too many people will be siding with you on that one.
If you hold the Player of the Year scoreless, I mean, surely you deserve a little bit of recognition. But anyway, we're not here to give out medals tonight, but
true.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, the thing is, I met an All Ireland medal, meant as an All Ireland medal on the way back. I won't mention any names, but he said to me, it looks like they're there for another couple of years as well. So, I mean, they're the standard bearers now. And who can you see that's going to knock them off their perch? Tipperary aren't in a great place at the moment, and you know, it's a lot of stuff going on in Tipperary with one manager in and one manager out. Watford looking for a new manager. Cork having a new manager in. You know, are we the only ones in Munster that can knock them off their perch?
Yeah, as you mentioned there's a lot of teams in transition at the moment. But you know what, sport is kind of funny, and you look at all different sports across the world, like they all seem to come in cycles. And I know Limerick are on top at the moment, and Dublin are on top in the Gaelic football, but everybody eventually does fall. Like,
yeah, I think
yeah, I think that I do think, like, I heard people at the weekend mention that they could go on and win 5 in a row and 10 in a row. It's very hard. I know they did win 3 in a row, and fair play to them, but it is incredibly hard to go on and keep that, to chat about 10 in a row.
With that level of fitness as we were talking earlier.
And I know they have brought in the new blood this year. I know Conor Boylan, and they had Adam English, and they introduced new guys into the setup, but it's not. It seems to the backbone players are. I know they're quite young still. They're born in 94, 95, 96, but they're still in their late 20s, and GA players tend to kind of go. Well, the odds one, like John Connon there, who's 34, 35, like he's the exception to it, but 31, 32, because it does take a lot of a toll on your body and your lifestyle as well. Like people who are working full-time jobs, GA again at the end of the day is an amateur sport, so like life does get in the way. And to say that they're going to be up with a chance of winning, okay, potentially 5 in a row, but to say that they'll win 10 in a row is flabbergasting.
Oh, well, that's I mean, the 2013 Clare team were supposed to win 5 in a row, so we all know how difficult it is. Like, and you know, I know I played in the West Clare League game. James, you'd have you 38 years of age.
Tom Malone played as well in the late 60s.
I think I was back in maybe, but yeah, it's you know, that level for so long. There's only so much but look, we'll see next year anyway. We know everybody knows where they have to get up to Limerick.
Yeah.
So and there's a lot of people. There will be a lot of teams.
But I do tend to agree with you. Like Clare, like if they didn't, a lot of people were saying, and they didn't really portray or demonstrate their full potential when they came to Croke Park against Kilkenny. But like sometimes, and Don Lowe was mentioning it there about the Offaly hurlers not getting over line under 17 level. And you know what? This could be good for Clare because they're making that a little bit hungrier for next year.
Yeah, I think that the future. I think there's a lot of players coming into the Clare panel yet who have come through from school. The nice Adam Hogan, I'm only naming one, maybe Adam Hogan. Potentially, there's a half a dozen guys who can come into the Clare team and really a strong Clare team getting an injection like that would be fantastic. And there's guys who want to step up. Robin Mounsey, I think there's a huge future for him, and I think
the future is bright.
Next year he's going to have that experience of big game, and he'll be that much stronger as well. So it is looking good, and obviously Brian Lohan would have his work cut out, but I think it's there to be done, and lessons to be learned as well. Maybe I suppose how to win an All-Ireland semi-final and things like that. So we party on Ireland Day. We congratulate our neighbours in Limerick, and John Kiley and Paul Kinnock, and they're great. We know Paul Kinnock, he's a great friend of us here in Clare. Did magic work for Clare, underage, under 21 and senior. So and Alan Cunningham, I think, deserves great credit as well. So well done to them lads. We take our hats off them. As I said, we're jealous of them now and again, but that's only natural. And we'll try and get up as high as them if we can. And they're really leading the way. So congratulations to them, and well done. So we leave that one there. The club championship starting. Nobody has really swung a hurley in anger yet this year. It's almost into the month of August.
It could start though at high noon on Saturday with 6 Mile Bridge into Newmarket. Derby game.
We have to let it run its course before we can really say if it's a good thing or a bad thing. We've talked about this before. But I have my own views on it. But the championship is starting now anyway, and next Saturday a local derby in Newmarket against the Bridge. it's going to be a home dinner at 12 o'clock on Saturday morning, I believe, in Cusick Park.
Yeah, I just before we started the podcast, I was reading through the Clare Champion, and I was reading Owen's piece on Brennan, and like he kind of he insinuated like people would tend to agree, like think that 6 Mile Ridge will win the game, but it's hard to agree with that assumption because like Newmarket were a stone's throw away last year. If the ball had gone the opposite side of the post for Colin Ryan, they could potentially they could have overcome an Ina Kilmona team in the final, and they could have been county champions. Like that's again that is sport. You just don't know what's going to happen on the day. So again, they could be fired up for this game. They won a 19B there on Wednesday or Tuesday throughout the week there against Kilmaley. They have a lot of new blood introduced into the team. They're fresh. I think they play a good brand of hurling as well. And no, I didn't see too much of them in the league. I only covered 100 games, but I seen 6 Mile Bridge play and very very impressed by them. And they have to welcome back obviously Con Malone and Shane Golden into the setup. Few more players didn't play due to injury, but yeah, I think it's going to be a lot tighter than people think.
Yeah,
it's a tricky game in Cusick Park to play. Like it's perfect, ideal conditions, good weather, pitched like a carpet. What more can you ask for? I suppose Derby Day.
I think myself the 6 Mile Bridge, they have achieved an awful lot in the county, and you know they have huge mileage in the clock, and I think that began to show last year. Teams were able to catch them last year.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a further year on. Newmarket are a team, like a lot of them go back to 2012 when they won the county title themselves. Like, but they're a very underrated team, and I've underrated them myself. But they're very hard and well able to hurl, and they're a very hard team to get over. Ballyea were very lucky. You know, as you say, Colin Ryan would have normally, you know, he owes Newmarket nothing, like, but it was the wind and factor and that. But it makes for a great game, and makes for you know, it's tough one to call. The Bridge would be champion at the bit, having bowed out last year, maybe at an earlier stage, and they would have liked, and their season campaigners. So you're in for it. It's one nobody you want to miss anyway.
It's a real tricky group though. Like for these teams, like I think Whitegate are also Whitegate got a buy. Whitegate got a buy in the first game there, but you'd want to be winning your first game in that group because it's a real group of death. Like the other game there, Ballyea and O'Callaghan's Mills. Ballyea are the champions. Ballyea, okay, Gary Brennan stepped away, and they've 2 or 3 injuries. But like with the reintroduction of Tony Kelly, and I know there's talks about he's not to his full potential or full fitness, sorry, but as well Gudgie as well. It's just going to be an improving Ballyea side who already are county champions, and they're playing against a Mill side who I find were a bit unfortunate last year. Like if
they just didn't get the run.
And I know they were down in relegation, but you can never write off for Collins Mills. If you think championship isn't upon you until you play someone at O'Callaghan's Mills, because they will leather into you, and they don't care who you are or what you've won. And I know they're playing the current county champions. Do you think that'll bother them? Not one bit. Collins Mills always let you know that they're there, and they were just a bit unfortunate last year, and again they had a tricky group, but they'll learn, I think, the next day against Ballyea. Games on in Cusick Park as well at 2 p.m.
So that's one to watch. Cracklow and Clarecastle.
It's
I suppose the question is where are Clarecastle at in their development, I suppose, you know. And I don't mean development, I mean they were a star-studded team, and suddenly they had lads retired, and they've struggled to maintain the Division 1 status. They have a lot of young players, and
but to be fair, they've struggled the last couple. They have struggled the last couple of years. Like there's no sugarcoating it. They had a decent league down in Clare Cup 1B. They've done all right. A couple of good results, couple of poor results. But championship is a different animal, and they're coming up against a Cracklow team who are. I don't even know where you can stand with them. They have so much potential, but they have a lot of you don't know who's fit for them. is Conor McGrath going to be
Yeah.
fit? Is Conor McInerney going to be fit?
Yeah.
Then there's the juggling of 2 weeks of hurling, 2 weeks of football. They've a lot, like,
But they've juggled that for the last 10 years.
yeah,
I mean, that has to wear you down playing both codes. You know, the likes of Podge, brilliant hurler.
on paper, Cratloe
yeah.
are brilliant, and on paper
Yeah.
you would expect Cratloe to overcome Clarecastle. But again, if Clarecastle, I know Anthony Daly's involved this year. If surely he's going to improve them. So if Clarecastle have improved, because Clarecastle have had serious talent coming through. The amount of minor finalist appearance over the last decade, and triumphs, and they have a couple of those guys brought into the squad. So it's hard to know until you actually see them play.
Yeah.
What Clarecastle are going to be like in championship. Cratloe, you would expect Cratloe to come out on top of that down on the bridge, on Saturday evening, but. Yeah, if Cratloe are full, if they got a full bill of health, I know they probably won't, but if they're somewhat near it, they should overcome a Clarecastle team.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know what Clarecastle have in their locker at the moment.
A young team, they think they have turned the corner, or and you know they could be just going now into the you know getting up into senior level, like so.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. We've Ballyea and the Mills team, which is an intriguing one. The Mills were in the final 2 years ago. And as you said, like a tough team, and having had the bad year they had last year, being able to stay up. Obviously, there was a lot of to and fro with the staying up, like, but you know, you surely say they're going to come with a big challenge in this year.
Yeah, but only 2 teams get out of the group in this.
Yeah.
So it is awful hard. It is awful hard to know who's going to get out of that group. Like all romantics would say Ballyea in the bridge because they've won county titles recently, but yeah, it's gonna be tight. I'd expect those games.
Yeah. If you're beating the weekend, you're really on the back foot. You really didn't have to depend on you know. You're depending on getting a win. Then they have to get a win, and then you're probably depending on other results. Then maybe as well from the wild round. So a win. The first round is the one to win, isn't it?
Yeah, but even looking like when I was reading the article there, the Clare Champion, the amount of injuries, like going through different players, the amount of injuries the clubs has, it was crazy. The injury list was every single team, not just 1 or 2. It was the whole lot of those teams. And you know what? It probably would be better to be a Gaelic football team at the moment because you've got 2 weeks to get it right. In contrast to the hurling, was 2 weeks of hurling, first round, second round. Or for some teams they'll have 2 rounds played, or sorry, the first round played, and then if you've lost those games, you're staring at relegation. And this year, I think it's 2 to 3 teams that got on this year. Not 100% sure about that.
Yeah.
Because of last year, after
That's what happened. Yeah.
everything
I
last year.
think they said there would be 3 teams this year.
So
don't quote me on it.
yeah,
we'll have to look into that. But
you're in trouble if you lose your first game.
Yeah, you go into that relegation battle. This is just
like even the last game there in senior championship on Saturday in the bridge, 7 o'clock. Clonlara playing Fecal. Fecal are a hard team to play against, and Clonlara know they got to the Clare Cup final. Serious talent in their ranks. John Conlon, Cathal O'Connell, Colin Galvin, Dave Jersey on J1. The amount of those guys that they would be called their leaders, so-called leaders. Those guys are going to be a huge loss to them.
Yeah.
And like they played in the Clare Cup final a few weeks ago against Canadians. Okay,
they were very good.
They didn't turn up, and the thing about it was, injuries played a huge factor in that. And that's like, if you were a betting man, I probably would side with Fecal in that one.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to see a shadow of a Clonlara team getting over a Fecal team.
Who are on the rise for the last number of years.
Exactly, they had a couple of those players in that. Tulla, as you mentioned, Adam Hogan there, and like that group of players, they won under 21A a few years ago. That bunch of players have played the whole way through, kind of up through the ranks. That age group, Shane McGrath, brilliant. He's a brilliant player for the marquee player. And another factor as well, I know we mentioned the 4 games here, is free taking. Like if whoever free takers for those teams are on song, I think it'll play a huge factor towards it.
Yeah, Clark's was taking the freeze for the last day of the Clare Cup,
Yeah.
and he got injured, and suddenly, I think it was Michael Lockwood took the freeze dinner today. I'm not certain, but it is a huge factor if you're free takers not informed.
It's one thing I've noticed this year from covering the games that there's been quite a high total, I suppose, of free count is quite high for both sets of teams. So I'd expect free takers to be very active this weekend.
Yeah.
In the first round championship.
Yeah.
As well, when fitness wouldn't probably be up to where they want it to be.
Yeah. So that's the 4 games that's going to be at this weekend.
Yeah.
They're tasty. Each one has its own flavour, and really looking forward to getting back into, after the disappointment of the Alliance when we finally we're getting over it now, and we want to get going again and get back out and onto the sidelines and into the stands. And
if you could call 4 winners in that, Nicholas, who would you go for?
Yeah, you look at me on the spot, okay. I'm going to go with Newmarket, Ballier, Fecal, and what's the other again?
Crathorne.
And that's the probably stuffing block. I suppose we'd have to nearly go with Cratloe.
Yeah.
But only just. So that'd be my 4 teams anyway. If you're on a 5 or stick it on each way.
Each way.
50 pence each way was my old bit. But yeah, I could be totally wrong. It could be 3 of them teams would be. But that's what I would go for. You call your 4 now. So.
I know I won't, Nicholas. I'll leave you to it.
Let me be the fall guy. Who's asking questions here? Anyway, we'll have a quick look at the intermediates as well. There's a really tasty one there for the local rivalry there, Corofin and Rouen.
Yep.
And they play together like under 21, so it makes it all the more intriguing.
A lot of those guys are playing against each other who would have played throughout underage, and a couple of those guys are successful. A titles.
Yeah.
It's a hard one to call. I know Kennedy has gone to a rogue, so he's going to be confident. Corofin are flying it in the football last year. They had a really impressive intermediate championship win towards the end against Killadysert.
They went to the Munster final.
They sure did, yeah. And they just lost out to the Kerry champions. But it's going to be, I know Rowan won last year, and you'd expect with their player like Robin Mounsey involving with Inter-County, that's going to bring them on a small bit more.
Yeah, it is. One of the lines is that he played in the minor as well. He'd be going into the fray as well.
Yeah, well, he's under 17.
Is he still under 17? Maybe we would make it.
And I'm sure James Organ as well played with Corofin.
Yeah.
So they're not.
Yeah,
they're not available yet.
But
it's going to be an intriguing encounter. But I think Rowan would just shade it.
Yeah. I think tradition can play a lot into the minds. There's a fellow down in Rowan as well, Aidan Lynch.
Yeah.
He's a huge player for Rowan, and if he turns up from freeze and from play, and he's just a pillar of a forward to have. Like if he's super forward, he's really good to. Corofin would he's remarkable. I think at that level.
He likes to take his time over the freeze as well. He could 40 seconds over a free.
He likes to be sure, but it depends on what way the game was going to maybe. But
But again, it comes down to how many injuries both those teams have as well.
Yeah, you've got the Cans, like the Cans. Great footballers, great hunters as well. Like 2 brothers there, and
They link up brilliantly they link up brilliantly on the pitch. But like Corofin, they didn't do overly. Neither side, Rowan or Corofin, were overly impressive, I suppose, in the Division 2 this year. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting on the fence in this one because I really don't know who's going to win it. Yeah. Because like a couple of years ago, Corofin beat Rowan, and then now Rowan beat Corofin, so it is a very hard one to call. And there's some serious talent in both ranks. So I'm going to sit on the fence, Nicholas, on that one.
So then we have Tubber, who really have been knocking on the door of the market. Tubber, they've been really unlucky. They got to finals and just didn't get over the line for one reason or another. Pat O'Connor injured as well in there last year as well. He was a big loss to them. They're big in the county star. So they'll be Pat O'Connor. I think is back now. He was training the Clare team trust in, so he'd be a big boost to them playing the market.
They've Tower. I always feel underachieve every single year. They have some serious talent in their ranks. Yeah, like.
Clive Early.
Yeah, but again, the thing about it, we mentioned it before. I mentioned about Limerick earlier was they're slowly but surely Asian, and they would want to get back up to senior ranks. And people go, oh, I know the population. Tubber had a huge plan. I was looking at them. We played when I was playing with Nicholas Rynne there last season, the year before. They had the guts of 25 guys, close off the 30 guys, togged out, and they were well able to hurl the whole lot of them. Joy, Jordy, and they've a really solid goalkeeper who's a platform. His puckouts are a platform for attack. Like he can drive the ball all the way down to the 21, and it's inside their full forward line. And they're very dynamic. And Donald McMahon running through the penetrating runs down through the centre. Yeah. I'd expect him to be Newmarket, and by at a counter, I think. Yeah. Like Newmarket, the 3 players that we know of that are injured this weekend in the seniors, James McConigley's hamstring, James Begley's hand, but I'd expect all the second string teams, due to the high injury count, to lose 1 or 2 of their, I suppose, marksmen or main guys. Yeah. And it's going to hurt the market toward their second team. And I think Tubber will just have enough to spare. Well, not enough, a lot to spare on the market.
Then we have St. Joseph's in the middle. St. Joseph's will be bitterly disappointed that they didn't win the county final last year. Against a really sharp Smith O'Brien's team on the day who outmaneuvered them.
Outwitted them,
outwitted them, yes, the word. They're surely favourites of this one.
Yeah, it's an O'Callaghan's Mills thing that are just after coming up from Junior A, and they'll be coming up with, I suppose they'll be coming up with a pep in their step. But again, it's the same thing. It's a second team. Yeah. Who are they going to lose? Who are they going to keep? St. Joseph's Dora Bayford, you'd expect them to beat them. Similar enough. They were slow to get guys back this year. I don't know, a lot of teams this year in particular, everybody wanted to play when COVID kicked in. Like you've seen lads, there was loads of guys coming back playing hurling, Gaelic football, and then their panel was quite small for a club that are quite big. You look at their underage, they have
huge multi-talent.
610 teams or 612 teams. Yeah. They have a lot of players but the senior, once they get to that senior rank, I don't know, the players kind of fall away. And recently, I found they've fallen away. But again, not taking away from the serious potential, and they're down from senior, and they want to be getting back up to it. So I'd expect them to beat O'Callaghan's Mills again with a lot to spare.
And the last game being the 6 Mile Bridge and Clonlara, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. That's on 1 o'clock on Sunday, isn't it? And,
Sunday. That's the first game, Sunday, 1 o'clock.
Yeah. You'd expect the Bridge?
Yeah. Again, it's the same. Going back to it again of injuries, Clonlara have a load of injuries. Yeah. They have around 4 or 5 injuries on the senior team, so that's again going to eat into the intermediate team.
Going to lose players.
The intermediate team they're fair. They would have been in the middle. They wouldn't have been winning it. Yeah. Probably would have been they would have been above relegation if in and around it, and they were they played last year in the relegation playoff to stay up. They stayed up in it, and they've been playing a 6 Mile Bridge team. We just came out last year out of the group of Killanena, Kilmona, and Tubber. So I'd expect that 6 Mile Bridge team to go on and beat a Clonlara team that'll be very understrength.
Yeah. So there's 8 games, 4 senior, 4 intermediate. So there's plenty there for everyone to watch the quarter game over the weekend, and plenty to look forward to, and plenty of results will be coming in Saturday and Sunday evening. And the Cusick Park and 6 Mile Bridge and all those pitches they'll be busy places to be over the weekend. So we'll look forward to the start of that. Hopefully, from my point of view, and your point of view, James, I'm sure it'll be lovely to see the new talent coming through, new lads coming into teams that potentially could maybe make a Clare team.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, it should be interesting to see what new guys make the breakthrough for those teams. Yeah. Like the under-19 final 8 in Cusick Park last time, Kilmona playing 6 Mile Bridge, they had 3 or 4 guys 6 Mile Bridge that were featured heavily in their Clare Cup games, and the good hurlers, some very very pacey hurlers. Casey in the full forward line there for 6 Mile Bridge, very pacey player, and I think he'll feature. I'd expect him to feature against American on Sunday, and like Bally, they've they have the same kind of same faces bouncing around. So
Yeah.
wouldn't be expecting too
Yeah.
many new talents or
New
new fresh blood being
hands gonna-
brought in
yeah.
there. But with Cracklow, with that, you don't know who's going to be playing injuries wise. So I'd expect there was a lot of guys this year from like reporting from yesteryear
Yeah.
that I wasn't familiar with their names. So
Yeah.
I'd expect new people to be coming into the
They'll come
setup
back
there
to it, yeah.
for Cracklow as well.
On Saturday afternoon, in I think it's on the Tullamore,
Yeah.
is the Clare Junior Camogie team who've had on a fantastic run. They're one game away. They beat Cavan yesterday by a point, which was a really hard fought game. They're playing Antrim in All Ireland semi-final, and you know they're one of our last chances now because unfortunately the ladies footballers were beaten last weekend. They were beaten like they were 4 points up in extra time. One of the major players got injured and they got picked at the post. It was so unfortunate. They had such a great run, brought great pride to the county, and there's great credit due to the Clare ladies football team. Absolutely brilliant stuff. But for the Camogies now, it's a great chance to get to an All-Ireland final, get to Croke Park. I believe that game might be played in Croke Park.
Yeah, it'd be great. Like Conor Dolan and John Carney doing a great job with the juniors, so you'd hope that they can just get the job. And as you said, they've had a fantastic season so far. So please God, they can get over the line in that one.
Yeah, I was talking to Laura Anderson, and I was just telling me about you know the level, the commitment to those guys give, you know, free of charge. Like there's no money in Camogie.
Yeah.
You know, very little money. You don't say there's no money, but the amount, and they treat everybody the same, and they give the same commitment to the junior team as they would to the senior team, and they want the junior team because they want to be able to get teams off of that and bring them up into the senior setup for next year. So there's great credit due to those lads. It's a thankless job at times being a manager. Like who would be a manager? Like you know, the great Brian Lohan. He's got a lot of flack over the last couple of weeks, last week or two as well. Like you know, so you know, it really is a tough job. And these guys are, as I say, night after night after night after night, giving up so much time.
Yeah, I like the direction they're going with the development of trying to, as you said, trying to bring new players from the junior setup into potentially getting into that senior team.
It's something that I think we love you in hurling if you had our second hurling team going places and you know, rather than having huge panels that you're not going to use the full, you know, but bringing younger